Hi, I'm Cinnamon Cooney. I'm your Art Sherpa, and today I'd like to welcome you to an exclusive Sherpa video. This is made and created just for you based on your request. You guys have been asking me for a couples paint, and I have been like, what would be really hot? What would sell out? What would book your calendars like crazy? And then, ding, kissing fish came to me. The kissing fish. And so I was like, oh my gosh, everybody's going to love that. There's tons of customizable options. There's lots of ways you guys can change out colors and make it your own so that you can even drive a more unique look. Let's look at the materials, the color palette, and talk about those things real quick. So I have taken two 9x12 canvases and butted them together. I wouldn't go too much bigger than an 11x14 because you're going to want people to be able to complete this and not be stressed and not be so worn out. So I've got these put up right next to each other, but you know, most couples will paint them about this far apart. Each one is its own painting. So if you've got friends or something, or besties or mothers and daughters, that's not going to matter. They're going to be able to get them in and take home their each unique painting. The first part of this is getting kind of a turquoise color in the background. Now, here I have my warm red, which I traditionally do as Cad Red light. You could do napthol red light as well. I've got quinacridone magenta. Any good magenta will work for you. I have Cad Yellow here, but you could use Hansa Yellow as easily for this. I have Phthalo Blue and Phthalo Green, which I think you guys can pretty easily get. I have added white to my Dioxazine Purple. This is usually called Brilliant Purple when it's lightened up a bit. So if you want to get a purple that's this range, that's fine. Your white, your white and your black. So let's take these two and make a nice aqua teal. Now, if you happen to already have an aqua teal, my time-saving tip would be to put that out for them ahead of time so that they're not having to mix. Anytime you can alleviate your students from having to mix, you're going to alleviate your aggravation. The color you're going to want to be looking for if you're looking for one of these in the bottle will be something in a traditional turquoise range right about here. So I get this using my Phthalo Blue and my Phthalo Green mixed 1-to-1, and then I add a little white. But if you could just find that, I often see these in the bottle just ready to go. So that's something that you could do. That's something we're going to be having available to you. You're going to ask your couple to each paint their canvas solid this blue. So let's look at that. I'm going to say you want to give them a fairly decently big brush, but obviously not one that's going to take you tons of hours, you know, after the show to wash. I think that's always an interesting challenge for anyone in painting. And we're going to paint everything solidly blue. That's all they've got to do is paint a nice solid field of blue. And that's pretty easy for everybody, right? Whenever you have guests, you can get them to paint a nice solid field of blue. Gives them a chance to see how they're going to do during the painting. This is a good time for you to observe your class and get a sense of like, hey, how's it going for them? Are they having an easy time covering the canvas, or are they painting dry? You know what I'm talking about? People like, they come over and they get just the smallest amount of paint possible, and they're like, I don't know, it's taking me a minute. So everybody's got a style or technique or process, and this gives you a chance to know your process. This painting, I'm going to try to do it in a way that's good. Like, so if you have a late guest, they can come in and catch up pretty easily. Some paintings are friendly to that and some are not. I'm hoping that this one will be one that's super friendly. So I'm going to be the other side of the couple now and get this one painted. Now just going right across here. I'm so excited to give this to you guys. You have no idea. Put a little bit more of my white out here. I'm trying to get more into some of the consistencies that you're dealing with that I think you should deal with. My feeling is for most of your paint nights, a softer paint, medium body to soft body, really medium body, not quite heavy body, not quite soft body, is really your best bet, which is, you know, most painting party paints run in that range pretty healthily. I think the heavy body is more challenging for new painters that are on a time frame. So at this point, hopefully they are getting these in. I would schedule anywhere between, depending on the length of your party, let's say 15 to 20 minutes for them to figure out the paint, get the background in, get going, and go. So 15 minutes in your time scale. Let's rinse out our brushes and put them aside. To 20 minutes on what's out there. I'm going to go ahead and dry this. So during this time, when you've finished up your background, which should be 2 times faster than your class minimum, that should let you walk around and troubleshoot while they're wrapping up their backgrounds. So just keep that in your mind. I'm going to dry this real quick. Keeping myself going. It's important that with your guests that you're taking care of your hydration, your self-care. I wouldn't really recommend if you're doing a wine and, paint kind of situation that you really do the wine and paint, because it's best that you're agile on your feet. But I do think it's good to have something to stay hydrated and keep going. Also remember to keep like a gel mat or something under your feet so your legs don't get fatigued. When you've given everyone a chance, I threw John there. When you've given everyone a chance to catch up and everything, make sure their canvases are dry, you can either do this next part, sketch demoing it in painting. You could demo it in on a dry erase board. You could have a traceable. There's a lot of ways you can get it in. I'm going to show you how it's drawn in, but of course with this exclusive, there's going to be a traceable. Basically, this is how my little kissy fish got put in. First, I put in their cute little kissy faces, which are about this big on the canvas. If you look at my hand, it's about a palm circle. You want them fairly close to the edge, but not totally there. You could connect them all the way to the kissing lips, but I'm going to imagine people are going to do a variety of lips as they get these in. So once that's in, you've got to show them the fish shape. And the fish shape is basically an S. So if you make an S, that is the shape that the kissy fish is going to take. Isn't that helpful? Because everyone can do that letter S, can't they? I used to think of this when I did the owls. It was like, how could I construct this? Or how could I construct Le Chat Noir, which is like a gift to my boss. So it's just really crazy. All right, the lips. So on the face, we're going to come down, we're going to make a curve, and we just make a top lip, and the bottom lip is a little bit smaller. So I just come here, top lip, curve back, bottom lip, and curve back. That's going to give us the gill. Now, I tend to like cute, adorable, slightly pudgy things, so I'm going to bring bellies almost to the front of the canvas because I like me some bellies. This is also going to enforce the heart shape that the fish themselves are making. Once I have that in, I can come off the back of the head, right, and decide how big the curve I want for my fish. I've got to leave some room for the fins back there. I'm going to get some clean water and erase that chalk. If you've got people sketching in with chalk, you can demo this about now. I'm going to come around the top. I'm going to curve it in. Remind people that drawing is not really that big a deal and nobody's fish is necessarily right or wrong at this stage. But what you're going to find is for you, this will be one of your favorite ones to do in. Now, once I have this, then I know I've got my little fins that I can be very artful with. He's got a fin off the top. I'm right now going to do something. I'm going to do a girl fish and a boy fish. I think it would be smart for you to also on your website or wherever you're showing examples, especially even in the class, show 2 boy fish, 2 girl fish, and a boy and girl fish. That way, if there's brothers they're painting or couples, same gender couples, if there's mother-daughters, there's just every combo of human. So give them the example so that they give themselves the permission to paint fish that reflect the party they came to have, right? You definitely want to show that, because assuming that people will know to do that, you will find that oftentimes people won't think that it's okay to customize the painting or deviate from your design. And so you want to, if you give them the examples, you're saying, hey, it's okay to be you. Okay to paint who you are or how you came, or that's how I started the apples and pears and peanuts and squares thing when I was doing people body types, because I wanted to give people permission to change up the body type and make a curvier couple or a leaner couple depending on the couple they were. Now there's going to be a little fin that comes off here, a little fin that comes off here, and then of course we're going to have the fin here. We also have inside the lips, we're going to go ahead and definitely accentuate those kissy kissy fish lips. You're going to do a nice little eye, right? So we got the little eyes here, and we're going to do like one with like a lash and then one that's just round. So once we have that in, we can do most of everything else with the fish. I'm going to grab I think I'm going to just grab a little angle brush, like a 1/2 inch angle or bright. Let's do a bright. And I'm going to dip this in water, and I'm going to go with her first. And she's going to be a little bit of maybe an ombre. So I'm going to start with a little yellow and white. I'm going to do her in warm colors, and I'm going to do him in cool colors. Couples could certainly switch that out if they feel like their couple energy, right, is different. Like you'll find like mother-daughter paints, they may feel very strongly that your sense of color orient is not the same as theirs. I'm also adding the white to the yellow because, as you know, yellow has a tendency to be a little transparent, and it will help with the coverage. If you have a really thin yellow, you may need to paint your fish white first. And that's just got to be about you knowing your product at the party. So I'm just coming and just making sure she's painted that, so you're demoing that. I generally demo one side, so I'm going to do this like I would do this. So I would show one side, one segment, let that side catch up, and then show the other side their segment. So I'm going to come along, start the fin maybe, and then I'll demo to him his little fish. So I'll rinse out and put this aside, get myself another bright. So he's going to be cool colors. So now I'm going to start him out with just the blue and a little bit of white. And the wonderful thing about having an aqua background is that it lets you do a blue on a blue and not lose your design. So you're going to show the other side of the fish how to do their ombre, their blend, their gradated finish, and that's just the head and the beginning of the tail. Now you're going to find as an instructor that this is a lot of hustle for you. But don't be afraid of that. Just go with it. I used to love doing couples paints. I didn't mind the speed of the painting. It was actually kind of fun and challenging to keep that up. Now I'm going to come off the back. You can show going on the edge of the brush, talk about the different sides, the different ways you can get that. We're going to sort of dry brush some of this fin back. And there we go. Now we're ready for this side. You'll notice I'm switching brushes, and that's because if I didn't get it completely clean, I wouldn't get the bright colors that I need on that fish. I'm going to definitely make sure for this, for you guys, that this is as bright as it needs to be. So even my yellow probably could have used a white undercoat, but the second coat will get it there. So never panic if you get a weird new paint in or anything happens. You've got it. So I've got that. Now I'm going to bring my yellow over to my little red over here. See how we're just doing this nice little And we're going to come right under the gill. And so that's going to help me get this gill. You love that? Is that not fun? Bring that little gill together. I can also, at this stage, come in and get a little of my yellow and this and come back and make sure that my little fin I started, really pretty, right? Look at that. Just getting that pretty, pretty little fin. Going along. Pretty, pretty little fin. Just grab them. I meant to grab the one and I did exactly what I said. No. It's like, where's that blue coming from? Grab the wrong one. So that's the other thing is keep track of those brushes. Keep those brushes separate. I just gave you a good example of why you would, because it will mess with your colors on your example painting. And so that's just something I do. I would have like 2 sets of brushes so that I could get that done. I'm going to come back into the yellow. Let me get some more yellow out. Make sure I've got a nice blend here. You can just keep pulling this down. And then as I'm going to come back there, I'm going to ombre that back. So I'm going to rinse that out. So again, I've got my warm water here, my cool water here. That's just my strategy as an instructor, right? Trying to keep that going. Now, as I'm going to come through here, I'm going to start moving him into some more like kind of cool colors. So I'll take my blue into my purple, like this. I'm going to play with the magenta for both of them, which is their tying together color scheme. Just the blue that I've got into the purple that I made, which would for you would probably be a brilliant purple. I think you could probably find it. I'm going to bring that way down on him. Just painting that in. Are we not having fun? I hope you're having fun. I hope you're finding your whole teaching adventure and your learning adventure to be a lot of fun, and you're really loving to get to meet your community and all that means. Come around here and just make sure that this is a nicely expressed jawline. So we can talk about how the strokes are following the direction of the body, letting the paint be a little bit streaky. I'm going to come right here. Make sure that this top fin has got some, you know, some flash. There we go. I might even come back and get a little bit up there. I think I need a little more. Just so he's a nicer design. A little more mohawky. All right, so we're doing pretty good. Yep. I'm going to rinse out my blue in my cool water. This will just save you some time getting some fresh water. We're coming up on our first next break. So then I would encourage, I have the warm water, warm brush, to mix our magenta with our warm red. And I like to get a little of my white into that so that it'll show. And you're going to see that it creates quite a gorgeous color pop. Everybody's going to go, ooh, color's wonderful. And you're going to go, yes, it is. Color is my favorite. It is just wonderful. Now, as I come into the tail, I can just playfully make the tails be long and flowy. Coming on the edge. There you guys go. Just a happy little playful thing. Let's get a little more in here. A little bit of that color up into this. playful, be playful. Make sure that your example that you put out there is your best examples so that people are inspired. You know, that's something you're going to want to do. So I'm going to come into here. Now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to get my magenta into this mix and blend. Look at that. Just loosely blending that. You guys are very happy with this design. And let's give him a nice tail too. He's a fancy fish as well. I think it's fun to, you know, you've got to be your own style. You got to be your own instructor. But I do think it's fun to, you know, joke with your guests about, you know, the characters on their painting and are they a fancy fish. Much like my live shows on YouTube, I find that live guests will get running jokes going in the room. And I think that's one of the nice blessings of what we get to do, to be part of those little memories. Just making sure his little tail is also fancy, even though some of it might be going off the canvas. And you can bring some of this up into him as well. I find that that's well received. All right. Now, while all this is having a dry, rinse my cool out into my cool. I'm going to start to do some finishing work, and I may get my round, whatever that is. I'll grab this right now, and I'm going to come in and paint. For sure, my eye's white. And I'm going to paint her eye white. Now, she's going to have like lids and lashes, so I've just got to get this circle in because I'm going to have a little lid and then a lid going around. And her eye, I'm going to do bigger than the boy eye. Oh yeah, it's going to be like that. Now, this is a good time for you to have a breaking space, let everybody get up and stretch, dry canvases, catch up, do what they got to do. You get your headset up, you turn the music up, you can do what you do in your parties to allow everybody to relax. Let them know this is a time if they're like catching up, it's a great time to catch up, or if they need to get up and get a snack, it's a good time to get a snack. I'm going to dry this real quick and change out my water. Okay, so your canvases should be dry. You should be ready to start instructing again. It's a good time to get everyone sat down and refocused, laughing, feeling relaxed. Lots of reminders about everybody's canvas isn't supposed to look the same. Everybody's art isn't supposed to look the same. That we're each unique individuals, and our brush stroke is as unique as our fingerprint. In fact, brush strokes are the fingerprint of the soul. So now that we have this in, let's give ourselves some lips. Kissy lips. I'm going to do pink kissy lips for my girlish fish, because I feel like it. But your guests, of course, can absolutely paint their kissy lips any color that they're excited about. Here's a little tip. The top kissy lip should be slightly darker than the bottom kissy lip. All right. So I'm going to make sure that that's true on mine, and I will make sure that this bottom kissy lip, I'll say kissy lips a whole lot, too much. But you can see that that does quite a lot to give that kissy lip some feeling. Now, the boy kissy lip, I'm interestingly enough going to do more in a combo of the quinacridone over here, the magenta and the warm red. Isn't this wild how we do this? And these lips, I'm going to make them a little more boyish, I'll make them a little thinner and longer maybe. By the way, another thing you can do if you have somebody with a beard is little catfish tails. I'll show you that. So these customization options that I always think are important to offer, so that people know how to personalize their own. Now to lighten his lower lip, I'm actually going to get just a little bit of the yellow into it. Okay. And that's how. That's how that gets. Is that not cool? You must be tripping. I'm always tripping. Now, the other thing that we got to do is we got to give them some little fins. So I'm going to go back into my yellow and a little of my orange, but mostly my yellow. And I'm going to come right here. And I'm going to get this. Now, it looks like I might want to get into my quinacridone and red to get the pop I want. So I'm going to come back and there we go. A little bit of my white. Not enough. So we got to go full yellow, folks. There we go. It has to show as a little fin. I don't want to rely so much on the outlining that I don't see the fin that's on her. Rinse her out. Get the cool one. Let's do lesson learned. Let's get the quinacridone and the purple that we have. The magenta and the purple. And we'll get him as well. So he's a little bit better. In fact, let's take this minute and dry this and pop this fully yellow. Because I think that's going to be better for the overall design. In my example, I had it a lot more yellow. So I'm going to do that. When you're teaching, keep in mind, you don't got to duplicate my boo-boos. All right. To make sure that the yellow is popping over this, I'm going to paint it white first. And that's something you would have your girls do. People painting the girls. They don't have to be girls to paint the girls. I'm just saying those that are painting the girl fish. By letting that fin be like that, I'm going to dry it again. We can then make sure that she's got a yellow fin. There we go. Much better. Isn't that just much better in our design? So that's something that when you're, if you're customizing these up, if you're doing school colors, just be aware that that may be something that you're up against. Now I'm going to give myself a second coat of white just to make sure that my eyes are bright and pop. My little round out, and these are going to dry. Now you can outline your fish in either white or black, but since this is an aquatic piece, we have to make a decision about outlining them in white and black. So I'm going to demo both. That way you can see it and make a decision of what's best. I'm going to outline the blue fish in white and the yellow fish in black. So to do this, you're just going to come along and have your students outline him with their round brush. Okay, in the white paint. And that's going to be very light. And work out really well for them. Lit. All right. Now we mentioned you could give him the little catfish, right? Which is very popular. And go ahead and give that fin a little bit of an outline to pop that, a little contrast. And a little bit of contrast for his little kind of mohawk here. Now the other fun place is that you can add a little personality if you want. You can create some scales. Some of the scales can have color in them. This is great on a kid's party if they're doing that little fish book. So remember, all these little elements, they add to what you can offer. The image is pretty packed, so I'm not personally going to include bubbles in the design, but you may find guests will bubbles and stuff here. So that's going to dry for a second. And we're going to do her in the black. And you're going to find that causes her to really pop. But we're not going to do the eye, because that's still got to get done. Around. Just outlining in black. In your examples, you could do both outlines white. Give them those choices. Give them those choices. Give them the options. Let them see the potential that their painting can have. How's that looking? That's looking, oh, that's looking strong. So the reason I like the white on the bluefish and the black on the goldfish is just that it creates this incredible sense of contrast and pop, which will look good online and look good small on mobile phones. Right, there you go. Some nice little lips all lined in there. Okay. There we go. Her little fin is lined in. And up. Loosely lining in that. Got to still get her back fin. And we are actually getting real close, guys. Just wild. So I'm going to go ahead and give her some scales too. If you don't paint a bunch of different colors in the scales, it's going to keep this party shorter. And so that's something for you to think about when you're doing that. Now, on both the center of his eye and her eye, I'm going to have to put, you know, the pupil. Small pupils imply that we are alarmed or concerned about something. Big pupils imply that we like something or really looking at it, we're in love. So by making the pupils bigger, it can actually imply a lot of emotion stuff. It's really interesting to go check to see how everyone's doing based on the size of their pupils in their fish and in their own eyes. Weird things you notice as an artist. Now I don't come back with a bunch of lids or anything, but I will come in just very carefully line around his little eye. And that's all the boy fish is going to need. Girlfish, she's still got some girling up to have done. So I'm going to dry her real quick so I can put her little lid on and her lashes. When she is dry enough for you to paint over, I would highly suggest taking a little of your quinacridone, your magenta, and your warm red, because you could be painting just a magenta and a warm red. Right? Because you're running a business here. Got to save those monies. All right. So we're going to come from the corner. And go on up over the top. This was like my whole jam on the owls. Come underneath. There she is. Looking fierce. She's got her fierce on, my friends. She's got her fierce on. Now, this is the one, lashes to lash or not to lash. To be really honest, I'm going to show you lashes, but your clients are going to be kind of, it's going to be down to the detail points of your brushes. Like this one I've got to reshape, and this one's a little bit better. So really assess your brushes before you include lashing or not lashing. that if you're going to lash, you would come up here with a little bit of eyeliner. A little lashing. Lash the lashes. May they be lashes to the lashes. Then you come under here. Lash, 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 lash. And my last thing that I like to do is the eye reflection. Even when I did sip and paints, I did my eye reflections because I felt like they added a lot to the piece. So I'm going to make a dot, dot, dot. There we go. Loving, happy, kissing fish. The couples paint. 2 boy fish, 2 girl fish, big fish, small fish, little fish, large fish, skinny fish. They can customize these fish to reflect the party that they're having. And you can give examples of those online. I hope this lesson was helpful. I cannot wait to hear how offering this on your calendars gets the response. Do you get bookings? This is not going to be on our YouTube channel. This is just for you. You guys, be good to yourselves. Be good to your clients. Believe in yourself. I got to tell you, as a person who has worked hard to get where they are, there is nothing like grit and determination. It's not a sprint. It is a marathon. And those who get up, believe in themselves, and persevere every day, they're the ones that can do anything. And I believe in you. We want to see you inside your studio really soon. Bye-bye.